Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are trying out another method in which to do these videos. Make sure that you put your comments down in the comments section on what your thoughts are on this new video platform of recording it and using a different method. So put your thoughts down below, but like this video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below to make sure that I know what you're thinking about this game, previews and prediction. What is your score prediction for this anticipated matchup between two teams that, have two very new head coaches, Shane Beamer in his second year, and and Marcus Freeman in his first year. This should be a really interesting matchup heading into this. So we are going to get into this matchup now. So heading on to this, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and South Carolina. This matchup will be played in Jacksonville, Florida, to remind you of that, just so that way you know where this matchup is. So to start off with some of the leaders of this time, or of these teams, we have Drew Pine and Spencer Rattler as the two quarterbacks, though Drew Pine has transferred out. So a lot of the Notre Dame fans and a lot of the Notre Dame media has been making a lot of predictions on who plays quarterback, whether that's Tyler Buckner, whether that's Steve Angeli, who plays quarterback. Obviously, you have a lot of question marks moving into the offseason of do you have a transfer quarterback in? Point that I wanted to point out here was you have the yards, the rushing yards that Notre Dame has, and the passing yards. So Notre Dame is a very rush-heavy team, has 182 rushing yards per game. South Carolina has 192 allowed per game. This is a Notre Dame team that I think can exploit South Carolina's weakness in allowing the rush attack, especially with the opting out of Zach Pickens, as I will talk about later on in the video. Marshawn Lloyd, South Carolina's running back, has also opted out for this game. So we're going to quickly move to opt-outs here. So for Notre Dame's opt-outs, and then we'll move back to the stat side of it, you have Michael Mayer, Isaiah Foskey, Drew Pine, and Jaden Bellamy are the most notable opt-outs. There are a few for each side that I did not add, but these are the most notable. Michael Mayer and Isaiah Foskey were not unexpected, and even Drew Pine and Jalen Bellamy weren't expected were kind of expected in their own right. But Michael Mayer, Isaiah Foskey both declared for the draft heading on to that. So then Drew Pine just announced yesterday that he will transfer to Arizona State. So this is a team that is quarterbackless, though their running attack is their biggest strength. So we'll see with that. So Jaden Bellamy, a backup cornerback, not too big of a deal, but the fourth biggest player there for the Irish to opt out. So then you have, for the Gamecocks, you have Jaheim Bell, Zach Pickens, Marshawn Lloyd, Cam Smith, as well as Austin Stotner. All of these players opted out of this game or are transferring. Most Zach Pickens has entered the NFL draft, but most are transferring away to another university. So this is going to be a game in which you do have a lot of different players that aren't playing in this game. That is going to make it a very interesting matchup to see what comes out of it next. So as we move back to the stats for this game, the biggest thing that I think for Notre Dame is their rushing attack compared to the passing attack. This is a Notre Dame defense that has done a very good job at limiting the amount of yards that they allow through the air. Only about 190 per game compared to South Carolina is, especially in these past couple of games, has done a much better job at being explosive through the air. Spencer Rattler really finding his own there. So I think that is quite important. Moving on to this kind of segment to talk about what's gone on in the past couple of games. The common opponent that Notre Dame and South Carolina both have is the Clemson Tigers. Both teams came away with a victory. Notre Dame's looks a little more impressive at 35-14, though that was a home game for the Irish. and South Carolina did have to play in Death Valley, in which they got a 31-30 victory over the Tigers, as that game ended up being one of the last ones for DJ Uyunglele. So Notre Dame had a lot of success and a lot of momentum going into the Southern Cal game. Unfortunately for them, Notre Dame had the loss there, losing 38-27. South Carolina, though, has had a lot of momentum in the past couple of weeks. After that loss to Vandy of losing 6-38 in the Swamp, they had an impressive victory of 63-38 and an impressive victory, like I said, over the Tigers, 31-30. As you move into this bowl game season, South Carolina and Notre Dame both look to put up their 9th win of the season. That could be very important moving into next year for both of them, as both are recruiting high-level athletes, looking to add in the transfer portal. These are both teams that have a lot on the line for this game, even though they are not teams that particularly have any sort of long-term implications on the single game alone. But I do think that this game does have a lot playing on the line for it, especially with this type of game, adding to the benefit of going into next season with the victory for two young coaches that are in the beginning of their coaching careers. I think that is critical going into that. So we're going to go into the 3 keys of the game for the Fighting Irish here. Number 1, you got to run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. I know that's kind of 2 keys, but I'm really just wrapping it up into 1. You got to be able to control the trenches, got to stop South Carolina's run game, and got to be able to develop your own run game. I think that is important in order to be able to have any sort of success. Number 2 is to develop whatever quarterback ends up playing in this game. And to be honest, it's a possibility that both play in this game. It could be that Tyler Buchner plays a couple series, then Steve Angeli plays a couple series, and back and forth you play just to kind of see what you have, because I think that you're probably going to have a quarterback and a Devin Leary or a Sam Hartman probably come in to Notre Dame next year and see what happens. This is another big game for South Carolina as well, as Spencer Rattler has a lot on this line as he goes into next season. Can he continue the momentum that he's built the past 2 weeks against Tennessee and against Clemson? And then number 2 for Notre Dame, you got to win the takeaway battle. You can't turn over the ball and give up extra possessions to South Carolina. You got to win that turnover battle. That is really important in order to be able to win this type of game. The third and the final key for this game, and this game, or this point, I think is one of the more important, is Brian Polian's special team has to make a special play, either a kick return to like the 35 of South Carolina, or a punt block once again, or anything. Just anything. It has to be some sort of special play from this team, because I think that in order for Notre Dame to win this game, I don't think you can rely on 2 quarterbacks that have almost no experience. Tyler Buchner has barely played any since his junior year of high school, where he had a full season. Senior year had COVID with that in California, so no high school football. Freshman year sat on the bench for the most part, and then this year got injured. So I think that this is a game in which the other 2 units, especially the special teams, is going to have to make a difference in order to win this game. So that is going to wrap up today's preview and prediction for the Notre Dame South Carolina Gator Bowl. So make sure that you like this video down below. It really helps the channel grow. So tell me what your thoughts are on this new format. What do you like it or not? So that's all for today's video. As always, have a great day. Bye.